Anime is coming back with a bang this summer, and the best way to watch it is with the OG streaming service Crunchyroll. God of High School, ReZero Season 2, Fire Force Season 2, and new Sword Art Online episodes are coming to Crunchyroll this summer and will be streaming in beautiful high definition on all your devices. Try Crunchyroll Premium right now for free with the link down below, crunchyroll.com/geekdom. Try it out and don't miss a single episode of all the new anime coming out. Plus, classic favorites from the past are still available on Crunchyroll. Hours and hours of anime at your disposal. Try it out. The very highly anticipated Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 62 is out, and I think a lot of people are having some real interesting emotions based on this manga chapter. After literally having eaten 7-3, Moro has evolved into a new form with a new power, and the purpose of this entire manga chapter is to illustrate just how dangerous this new power is, and the way that Toyotaro choose to illustrate the incredible power of Moro throughout this entire chapter is by turning up the violence meter to the highest it's been in quite some time. This is one of the most violent Dragon Ball Super manga chapters we have ever had. And I've seen some people have the opinion that they felt like this manga chapter was a bit too violent and that it was done unnecessarily, but I completely disagree. I think it's more than necessary for Toyotaro to have this level of violence in the manga, because Dragon Ball fans are not going to get this level of just gore and blood from the anime based on Japanese broadcast standards of this era and the time slot when Super aired. And I think a lot of Dragon Ball fans miss this, and I think it's something that the series needs, because even though Dragon Ball has never been this uber bloody, uber violent story like other anime and manga are, you need to use things like blood and gore to get over and truly hammer home the dread of the current situation and the dread of Moro's new abilities. In the wrestling business, there was an old phrase that went red equals green, and I think this is how Toyotaro is seeing this. I think he sees that putting more blood is effective, and although some may see it as a shortcut, I see it as an opportunity, and I think he does too. Now, when it comes to this Dragon Ball Super manga chapter review here on the channel, I'm going to go a bit of a different direction because I've already done an entire summary. I've already read the entire summary of the story of events in a previous video, so I will link to that video down below. Instead, with this review, I'm going to be doing much more analysis on the manga and actually diving deep, because there's not much to this manga as far as story content goes, but there is a lot to dive into as far as stylistic choices. And going to that point about Toyotaro choosing to be more violent, I feel that this is not only a breath of fresh air for this month's manga chapter, but also one that has, in a way, enhanced Toyotaro's art. I have to talk about this now because I feel strongly about it. The art in this manga chapter is some of the best he's ever delivered. And there's something about the way he does these sort of uber violent scenes that I just love. And I feel like when it comes to his talent, he's been somewhat hit or miss in the past, but this is the closest, in my opinion, that he's come to capturing the Toriyama style of these characters. The way they look, the way they're designed, the reaction shots. I really feel like either Toriyama helped him a lot more this month than in previous months, or he is adapting to that old school manga style now more than he has in the past. But I must commend him on it. And one thing that he does in this manga chapter, which I think is going to be very controversial, is how quickly Moro takes out Vegeta. I know a lot of Vegeta fans seem to have a problem with this, but it's nothing new. It's happened with Frieza, it's happened with Cell, it's happened with other villains of the past, and again, Toyotaro wants to illustrate the power of this new Moro 7-3 hybrid. So the guy who he was fighting last ends up being the first victim, and not just that, but Moro absorbs Vegeta's abilities, including spirit separation. So this idea that Gogeta and Vegeta will be their trump card in this fight is just quickly brushed away by the author, letting us know that no, we're not going to see that here. That's not going to work, because now that Moro has that technique, forget it. Like, it just wouldn't do any good. On top of that, Moro also cleans house on the Z fighters using their own abilities. Piccolo becomes a victim of his own ability. Gohan ends up trying his best, but just not working out. Just can't do anything on Moro, which should be obvious. Sorry, Gohan fans. But also, 17 and 18 go down. And then Moro, to add more stakes, to add more drama, creates a force field around the battlefield so Dende cannot use his healing abilities to come in and help them out. And by the time that the chapter is over, what we have left with is a bunch of bodies just stacked up one on top of the other. Not literally one on top of the other, but you see these bodies just laid out and Moro triumphant over the entire crew, presumably, so far, that has tried to stop him. This was extremely effective if you ask me. And I've been a critic of Toyotaro for quite some time, but this is extremely effective because I feel like this is the closest we've come to recapturing that gloomy and dark atmosphere that Dragon Ball used to give us when we were younger. Dragon Ball Super lacks stakes because of the fact that we're still in the 10-year time skip, and that still is an anchor to the storytelling even in the Moro arc. But with strong visuals like this, I feel like it still sort of grabs at our deepest, darkest gut and brings us back to how things were when we got into the series as kids. And I feel like Toyotaro did this purposely, and I think it was a great move on his part. This was a great choice by Toyotaro to get this dark with this manga chapter. Another thing Toyotaro does effectively is early on we find out that 7-3's 30-minute time limit for his abilities is no longer a factor. So now Moro has presumably these powers permanently. So what Toyotaro's doing here, folks, is he is purposely stacking the deck against all of the good guys to where we don't think they're going to have a chance of getting out of this. And because Dragon Ball Super is still in the 10-year time skip, they sort of have to do this to keep us intrigued and interested going into the future, so that we all kind of wonder, okay, what the hell's going to happen for them to get out of this? I also really liked what Toyotaro did with Jocko, showing some bravery near the end of this chapter. He's the last one left. He's the last one that's not been laid out. And even he admits personal responsibility, although it's not his fault, because Moro was ultimately the responsibility of the Galactic Patrol, and he is the representative that's there on Earth. But we know Jocko can't do anything. We know Jocko is a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. But he's not the one who makes the big save, as we have the somewhat shocking yet somewhat predictable appearance of Mirrors, the angel turned Galactic Patrolman, who shows up at the end of the manga chapter to save Moro. Now this is going to lead us to several different possibilities of where the story may go. Mirrors is an angel, and as we know, angels are very, very formative fighters and very, very tough to beat. And we've never even seen an angel even remotely even sell, except for maybe when Goku bit Whis' hand that one time. These guys are just something else. So yes, I do believe that in one-on-one combat, Mirrors would be able to defeat Moro because he's a freaking angel. But with that being said, we know that per the rules of the angels, they are not supposed to get involved in these kind of direct conflicts. Once again, though, like I said before, that contradicts Whis reversing time in Resurrection F, because even though he did not get involved in the fight with Frieza, Frieza did blow up the Earth, and Whis did reverse time, so he is indirectly involved in that battle. So to me, Whis has already broken his own rule. So it could be a possibility where Mirrors will break the rule and it'll be forgiven, or perhaps Mirrors will indeed sacrifice his life as an angel, his mortality that is, to save Goku and them. However, I personally feel like there hasn't been enough of a relationship established between Goku and Mirrors for this to happen, or at least it hasn't been properly illustrated yet. Because yes, they were together for a while in the Room of Spirit and Time training, but was that really enough time for Mirrors to have that strong connection with Goku? Again, we'll see what happens next chapter. I don't want to be a guy who's already crapping on this before it even is finished, because the story has a lot left to be told. Also, there may be a secret backstory between Mirrors and Moro, which I will be discussing in a future video, that we haven't been told yet. There's a lot of possibilities here, and I don't think that Mirrors will be the key to defeating Moro, but I do think that he may provide a distraction for Dende to heal up the others, and then it becomes a combined effort. That, I think, makes more sense than having Mirrors just come in and just defeat Moro, because I personally feel like getting bailed out by the gods is something that I don't find to be very interesting, and that's one of the big reasons as to why I hated the end of the Trunks arc, because of Zeno's involvement. I thought it was too easy, even though it was foreshadowed, and even though this was foreshadowed, that doesn't make for a very good ending. But again, I'm not going to crap on it until I see what happens and how it's executed. But ultimately, the big teaser for next month is Mirrors and Moro. Are they going to do battle? Will Mirrors bring something to help Goku and them? We'll find out next manga chapter. Ultimately, I am still intrigued. I did enjoy this manga chapter a lot. I enjoyed the violence. I enjoyed the character moments. It was definitely a huge improvement over last month, because even though Vegeta did some cool stuff last month, there was too much bad writing, especially with Piccolo's weird and strange lines, that it just kind of turned me off to a lot of it. But I did enjoy it because there's enough cool moments that I'm happy. But this one actually was more consistent. Some of the best Totoro art we've seen yet. And I enjoyed it. I really did. Did you enjoy it? Let me know in the comments. I thank you for watching. And I'll be doing many more videos on this story soon, because it's not over yet. I'll catch you in the next one.